welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to speak to diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively in their community. My name is Kemi Akiode Adebayo, also known as Mama K. And with me in the studio today, I've got my dear sister and friend, Mrs. Wilma Piek, who is the Social Development Manager for Voortrekker, I need to get it right, Road Corridor Improvement District, VRCID for short, which is based in Bellville, Cape Town, South Africa. Wilma! Welcome to the program. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay. I know, I had to look at the name so that I don't get it wrong. Because you know me and all those long names.
Yes, it's quite an extensive acronym.
But I love VRCID. VRCID is like, wow, yeah. Short and sweet. Tell me about yourself, Wilma.
Kemi, I was born in the Free State in South Africa, which is the center of our country. And there we speak mostly Afrikaans, which is my mother tongue.
Okay.
So as you can hear, I can at least speak English. I'm not always that good at English.
Well, you still need to teach me some Afrikaans. Yes. Don't teach me the bad ones.
At least you know baie dankie. Thank you.
And you taught me the other one. Do you know the other one you taught me?
No, which one?
Dear Maka. You taught me that one.
Dear Maka is a very nice word to express that everything is just going.
Everything is going.
Not as planned usually, but anyway.
Okay, so in the Free State.
So I was born in the Free State, the middle child.
Oh, middle child, wow.
Yes, I'm also the middle child, but I don't believe all the stuff they say that middle children are the ones who does not do that well in life, because it's totally not true.
Did they say that? I didn't know
the
that.
psychologists seem to
Oh,
think
really?
so.
Okay.
But anyway, so I grew up in Bloemfontein, I studied there, and then I got married to my husband, and I'm married now for 30 years this year.
Oh, me and you!
Yes,
awesome.
And then I have 2 children, and the one is 28, the other one is 27, and my son is married and my daughter is single at the moment, and that is my family.
Wow.
And,
that is a really snapshot. You know that. Okay, so you got married 30 years ago to your sweetheart, and so did you move from Bloemfontein here? How did you find yourself in Cape Town?
When I got married, I started moving around.
Come, let's go.
Yes. So my husband is actually, he's a reverend.
Okay.
So, you know, the first congregation where we served was in Arlington in Free State, which is really very, very small. And then we moved to Heidelberg, then we moved to Pretoria.
Wow.
And then my husband got involved with the Global Day of Prayer movement. And the offices were here in Cape Town, so we moved to Cape Town, and we've been living here now for 14 years. 14 years, wow,
yes. Wow. You know, I actually didn't know hubby was a reverend, so you're kind of a reverend's wife. You're,
luckily,
So you are a kind of I don't even know.
I used to be a reverend's wife, but my husband hasn't been in the formal ministry for quite some time.
Okay.
At the moment, he's involved in a trust, the Mergon Trust, where they actually fund NGOs that has an evangelical mindset.
Okay.
So, and the developmental mindset. So he's always been sort of in the ministry, but not in a formal ministry, being a reverend anymore, and I actually quite enjoy it.
I was just going to say, why did you want to be a reverend? Okay, tell me, let's go now to VRCID. When was it started and why was it started?
Okay, so the VRCID was started in 2012.
Okay.
And the reason a corridor improvement district is like a special ratings area. So what the whole goal of the VRCID is to create a clean, a safe and a sustainable environment. In our case, we are in the downtown of Bellville and Parow, which is sort of the second developmental node to Cape Town,
Okay.
Central. So what happens often in central business areas is it sort of goes, take a backslide if you can say it. So the crime and grime becomes, is happening in such an extent that businesses don't want to do business anymore because it's not safe and it's not clean.
Right.
So the SID's function is to make the area safe and clean, and once the area is safe and clean, then people want to come and shop again in the area, they want to have businesses there. And in our specific area we also have a lot of homeless issues. We have street children, we have street-based adults here, we have women caught in prostitution, we have a lot of social issues and social ills that we have to address. And obviously, it's very easy to clean an area, put the security guard in, but it's not that easy to address the social problems, the poverty, the drug use, all the stuff that sort of comes with an area like this. So that is why we have a specific social department as well.
I think that's unusual as well in terms of other areas within the Western Cape. Probably they focus more on the clean and the cleanliness and safety.
Yeah.
But I see through VRCID and the work Bold Move has done with yourselves that you have that social department or area kind of cut out for you and really wanting to do something, because those are all part of what adds to making the area safe or clean.
Yeah.
And if you don't address the root cause in a way, then it's kind of a surface thing. So well done. So who do you work with, in terms of VRCID, and when did you start?
Yeah.
When did you start?
Okay, so you mean me personally?
You personally.
So I also started in 2012. I think I started 2 months
after
I started. And obviously we cannot do anything if we don't collaborate.
Right.
So we work very closely with mayors, we work with the city.
Right.
We work with the police, law enforcement, the business owners. The business owners actually pay a levy towards the SID. So they are sort of our clients.
So they're the ones funding.
Yes, they are actually the ones funding us.
Okay.
And we are a non-profit organization, so we're not allowed to make any profits. So all the money that we get, we put back into the community. And from our side on the social development part, we also try to help the organizations like the shelters, the people working with street people, assist where we can, contribute where we can, if we can, but all within our geographical area. So we're very bound to our specific area. We can't work everywhere.
Correct. So now, it says the Voortrekker Road. So where does, because Voortrekker Road, am I pronouncing it well? Because I always struggle with that name. I'm like, from which side is a very long road, and it has a lot of historical facts with it. From what section of the road would you say your work starts
we
from
are
and ends?
from Strand Street, which is just after the Kuils River off-ramp, and then we are all the way through to Talent Street in Parow. Yeah, and then there's some of the streets, it's not only Voortrekker, 2 to 3 streets behind it. So, but we are geographically a very big city, so we have quite a vast area that we cover.
Right, and you do have your mobile kind of those security kiosk kind of stationed, along the
we have we have about, I think it's 44 cameras installed in our area. We have a control room upstairs. So we also have people watching over our area 24 hours. We have a 24-hour control room, And we have a line where people can phone us all the time, our control room, and then we send out our vehicles to see what they can do, if they can do. But we have public safety officers that are not wearing guns, so they are like peace officers. So you know, when the police needs to get there, then they contact the police. But we are often the first guys on the scene.
Okay. You know, a lot of what the work, you know, VRC does, and which is a lot of good work, you know, in the area. What are some of your success stories? What you're proud? Maybe share with us a success story of a project maybe you're proud of.
Yes. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have really been successful in collaborating with our partners.
Okay.
So, you know, when I started here, Ilse Martens from MES told me, if we don't get everybody around the table who deals with street people on some level, whether it's the law enforcement, whether it's the Department of Home Affairs, whether it's the clinics for health issues, then we're not going to be able to be successful. So we started a joint operations committee, and all of these role players come around the table. We make sure that we are on the same page, that we don't overlap, that there's no gaps. Now with Corona, for instance, or with COVID, you know, we couldn't meet as often as we used to, but the fact that we had that, you know, that collaboration set
already,
really helped our area to say, okay, this is the plan for the people living on the streets, and this is how we're going to address it. And although we didn't have access immediately to emergency safe spaces for our people, because we were able to work together, you know, and we worked very much with MES. MES actually took the lead, and we helped.
They're doing a lot of good work as well.
So that is really something for me for this area that I'm very proud of, and the VRCID actually won an international award.
Oh, congratulations!
Well, that was quite a few years back. You know, in terms of leadership and creating a holistic environment to address the issues in our area. Because we also belong to the International Downtown Association.
Okay.
There are SIDs all over the world, especially a lot of SIDs in America, and they have this association where we learn from each other. You know, once a year there's a big conference, and then you can also showcase your projects. So we have won that. Last year the VRCID won a security award as well for our security, which, you know, with my boss Derek Bock and our service provider. So we are very proud of the fact that we also get that recognition and that we can also compete internationally.
Yes, no, very well done.
Know, in a sense,
Very well done. But you spoke there about the fact that there's a lot of seats, for those who are wondering, corridor improvement districts, you know, more or less, around the world. For me, though, because I'm a world citizen, as I call myself, but my country of birth is actually Nigeria. I'm not sure whether we have a similar kind of concept in Nigeria. So are you aware of similar concept in other African countries?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Because I think it's a
Yeah.
concept that maybe the likes of VRCID could, you know, that is scalable, you know, in other parts of Africa, because the social issues are similar in most parts of Africa. And, you know, South Africa being, you know, one of the giants in Africa, can do that. But maybe we'll have more conversation actually on that.
Yeah, I think some countries might have it, but in a less
In a
structured
different,
way.
yes.
In the Western Cape, we have a bylaw that actually guides us. You know?
Right. Okay.
So for instance, in Gauteng, there's also SIDS, but their bylaws are not the same.
Different.
You know,
from,
so it differs.
everybody can do whatever, but
Yeah.
the bottom line is, you know, having the same goal and vision.
It's actually
you know,
the community in the area taking responsibility. In South Africa, we have communities filling up potholes on their own because the government is not doing it.
anything.
So that is part of what a SID does, but in that case, it's
But we
more
support from the business
informal,
owners as well.
Yeah, and it's the community members taking responsibility. I think that is, you know, that you can create a little SID anywhere. In a sense.
Well done and congratulations on all the awards and, you know, the collaboration work like you said. And I find it interesting that you've focused on a method rather than a project.
Yes.
You know, when you're saying, well, our success is the fact that we collaborate, you know, with others, rather than saying, oh, one of our successes X, you know, so well done. I'm sure though that you do have challenges, you know, that you face, you know, within your work, and especially with COVID, you know, like you know, 19, like you've mentioned, that has had a lot of negative impacts, you know, across everywhere from businesses to NGOs to individuals. So what are some of the challenges, you know, that either you or through your organization, you know, that you experience through your work, and how do you manage to tackle it?
I think our main challenge is, and I think that is everybody's challenge probably, is we don't have enough money. So funding, especially for social projects, because you know, if you give me, let's say there's a pothole to be filled, you give me money, I go and buy the cement and I fill the pothole and it's sorted. But with social problems, it's not like that. No. We have intergenerational poverty issues in South Africa. We have people that struggles with unemployment, with they don't have skills. Now we also have the situation with Corona that even if you have skills, you're going to struggle to find work. So I think our main challenge is for people to understand the psychology behind people living on the street. Many people feel it's bad people. It's people that's not interested in developing. You know, they just want to sit there. They're too lazy to work. That is not true. So the perception of people living on the street is one of our main challenges. And then also to get the community to work with us in the sense that we motivate people to give responsibly, or to give in such a way that we don't enable people, but we don't enable them to stay on the streets, but we actually give in such a way that they can be lifted off the streets. You know? So our struggle is, for instance, when people stand and beg at the traffic light, all of us want to give, because we feel sorry for that person.
But
often by giving them money, we're just giving him, you know. But if we give him like a food voucher, like we do with MES, they have food vouchers, and we tell him, go to MES, you will get food there, but we know if he gets there, there's also going to be some social workers helping him. So we, you know, so we are trying to teach the community not to be not caring, because you can say, oh, you know, I don't worry about you anyway, but to say engage with the person, rather work with us and fund organizations that
are already doing that and have got the experience.
Pick him up and take him to the place. Now, there's safety issues obviously, obviously we do get criminals hiding as street people. So you have to discern as well, and so that is why we say, you know, just try to give in a responsible way. Yeah, so that is basically, and then of course we never will have enough hands to do all the work. But working in the sector is really because the people that stick to the sector really has a passion for it. So it's always wonderful to work with passionate people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to touch on this one, and I know this one might be a very sensitive and delicate one for you. And in terms of, you know, the work that you do, you know, which probably will be a challenge as well, or has been a challenge for you and your family, was you're a recent survivor of COVID-19, where, you know, it was part of kind of work, you know, through work and things like that you get, but you I don't want to get emotional about it, but you kind of had death, I believe, looking into you at that time, you know, when you had that. And I don't know, how has that been? You know, what do you want to share with us with that, your work and what you're doing and now where you are?
Yeah.
Is there anything, maybe in a form of testimony, I don't know,
yes,
whatever you feel comfortable.
Kemi, I don't know if it's believers watching this
It's a
program.
It's a mix of everybody.
A mix. So we all, you know, there's many different faiths, but me personally, I'm a Christian, and you know, I ended up in hospital and eventually in ICU. They wanted to put me on a ventilator, but the ventilator wasn't available, and I also actually just said I'm not going to go on a ventilator. But my experience in the hospital was more like an emotional healing process for me personally. Because when you get into this kind of work, because it's so overwhelming, you tend to get to a point where you think you are the one that's going to, you know, you just keep on working and you are going to change it, and you think, you know, the more you do, the more change you're going to bring about, and you sort of have this thing, you sort of take the place of what God is supposed to do.
Trying to do God's work for
you. You know, you forget,
without knowing.
Yeah, you forget you're just an instrument, you're not God himself, you know. So God really, I really had you know, an experience that he's talking to me and telling me, you know, go to Romans 12. I actually, what happened is, you know, I had the experience that my whole life played in front of me, and God asked me, what are you busy doing? Are you, you know, what are you doing? Waarmee is jy besig, we say in Afrikaans. So, and then when after that experience, I took my my phone, and I have a Bible app on my phone, and when I opened the phone, it was at Romans 12. Now Romans 12 is that whole chapter of the body of Christ, and the fact that we have to serve each other in love, but that we also actually have to have our boundaries, and not think that we are God. So it was like confirming to me, God is trying to tell me something. So after that, I only went to ICU. But that morning I sent my husband a thing to say, you know, God healed me. But I refer to emotionally being healed. He healed me of many things that I carried in myself, unforgiveness, the fact that I think I must, you know, be the superwoman, the fact that I don't rest enough, all of that stuff. Which I know I'm talking to you too now.
I'm listening. I'm listening, man.
So you know, you sort of just tell me, just get your priorities straight. And that is what I learned from COVID, emotionally, physically. I really had a bad blow in terms of my health. I got out of hospital. I'm still actually struggling, getting tired easily. I have this what they call the long haul COVID. So it's very frustrating, but I think it's also a way of God to tell me, I told you to take it slowly.
A reminder.
Yes. So it was a experience that wasn't a nice experience, but it was a good experience for me personally. Yeah.
Well, we thank God for your life, and we know people were praying all over the world, praying all over the world.
There were so many people praying for me, and that I can also testify. For the first time in my life, I really experienced when people say people's prayers carried me.
Yeah.
Because while I was in hospital, you know, the doctors told my husband how ill I am, and I never really felt that ill, you know, although I was very ill, and I'm very, I know it's the prayers that carry.
What advice would you give to a young person who might want to start work in this third sector of where it's not about the money, you know? What advice would you give to that person, and how could they go about to join, you know, working in the non-profit or organizations like yourself?
Kimmy, I think the first advice I can give is that if you are interested, maybe go and volunteer first and see, you know, it's like job shadowing. Is there something you would really like to do? Then the second thing is, I would say, if at all possible, go and equip yourself. You know, you can, my grandfather used to say, people can take everything away from you, but they cannot take your education away from you. And often we want to do the short road, but having a proper education does help. It's not the only thing, but if at all possible, that is something I think you should strive to always develop yourself. Even if it's not a formal education, you know, if there's courses that you can do, there's many courses for free that you can do, but try to develop yourself wherever you can. And then, you know, sometimes God gives us talents and gifts, and those talents and gifts can be used anywhere in an NGO.
So it's a case of even finding out what are your talents.
Yes, maybe
doing a brainstorm.
What,
what is your interest?
The main thing is, you know, the best medicine for anything in this world is to feel that you are worth something, and that, you know, by giving to others, it's like a instant antidepressant. You know, you just. So even if you're not working in an NGO full time, you can always volunteer and give back to the community.
So what do you enjoy most about your work?
The fact that it's not the same every day. The fact that there's challenges and you need creativity to address those challenges, and the people, of course, you know, interacting with the people on all levels. I love working with the people living on the street as well, although I don't do it that often in my work. But I just love working with people, and I believe it's a calling for me. So I think when it's a calling, you enjoy it.
Yeah, and you thrive as well. You thrive. So what's the least favorite for you? What do you not like doing? Your work? I'm sure there must be something.
Yeah, what I don't like unmotivated people.
Okay.
I don't like people that's there but not really interested in working. Although I must say we don't have a lot of them in our sector. And I don't like people who judge.
Right.
You know, who puts a label. And of course, I must check myself as well, because, you know, that's one thing God taught me while in hospital, that, you know...
Pointing one finger, you're pointing out two fingers, and you're back at you.
You know, because I got to a point where I judged people who judged others. So I'm actually in the same boat. So I think...
A reality check.
Yeah, a reality check to realize that we can often get on a moral high horse, but we all have something that we have to humble ourselves.
So how do you think through VRCID and maybe, you know, MES, Avon Shelter and other people that you work with, you know, in collaboration most of the time, how do you think we can build a stronger social development, ecosystem in the Western Cape, or Bellville and Parow.
Yeah.
Let's even narrow it down.
I think we really need to get everybody on board. That is community members, business owners, the people who work directly with the people on the street. So it's really working together, good communication, informing people of what you are doing with, how can you get involved, what is good, what is not good. And then of course, what I love a lot is like your Heritage Festival. Because the whole goal of that initiative is to, you're not going to learn more about somebody else if you don't really learn about their culture. We have lots of cultures here in Bellville and in South Africa. I think in the whole world, there's
called the melting pot in Cape Town, for example. Rainbow Nation, South Africa is
exactly.
called,
So if we don't create opportunities where we can really learn from each other, live together, laugh together, eat together, then we're never going to address any problem effectively. So that's the more informal thing that I think we must do intentionally more to create that. And then of course, we also need to have a plan. Ilse always says a proposal beats an argument. And that is
she comes up with everything, that woman,
So, it's very easy to complain. But go and make a plan, and then you can tell people, this is the plan. I have found that people, once they see there is a plan, there is an alternative, and something is working, they're all ready to buy into that. So that is what we need to do. It's not always that easy, because especially with people living on the street, there's a lot of curved balls thrown at us all the time. And COVID is the latest one. So it's not that easy, but I think, just to keep on moving, not losing hope, and knowing that you are busy with the right thing.
Ooh, I could go on, me and you. There's so much, to still talk about and to still share. However, we've sadly run out of time. And you said your Heritage Festival is our Heritage Festival. I need to correct you there. You're part and parcel of, and you're not getting rid of me with that. We will, COVID or no COVID, we'll keep reinventing. We'll find ways, smaller ways and things like that. But before I just close, in closing, is there any last word or advice, tips, or anything you want to give to our viewers out there? Please just.
I think my main tip is to keep your focus on God. You can do a lot of things as a human, but to have something higher to grasp onto, and to know that you are not in control. And whatever you do, you're not going to determine anybody's final destination, but you can help that person and show him the love of God, and that you care. And if a person feels that you care for him or for her, then they are motivated as well, and they can go, and they can, the sky is the limit. So don't think you're God, but be a servant of God. I think that is what I would say.
Wow. That's a lot. That's me writing it. I love writing, by the way, because my husband does not like me doing this and writing. I'm like, no, I can't do this without writing, because I love writing. I love to have things in perspective later on to read. And what can I say? That has been a lot that you've shared with us there. And thank you so much, so much for the work you do. You're another example of an humble servant leader, whose calling is serving in the community through your work and other things that you do. We didn't even touch on, a lot of other stuff, that you're involved in on a personal level, either being supporting another NGO, and things like that, out with work. So well done, for the work you're doing. I know it's sometimes difficult, you know, for people like, you know, yourself and even me, I have to say that, to know whether, okay, are we really making a difference? Are we, you know, is anybody noticing, or, you know, not getting the recognition? Not that is the recognition that one is looking for at all. But however, you know, thank you for
and
all
thank
you're
you
doing.
to you, Kimmy. You are one of my role models.
I was going to ask about Reverend. No, I'm a bad role model for you because we don't sleep on time, we overwork and everything else. So, but thank you, and thank you for saying that, you know. And yeah, there's a lot there that you've covered, and I pray, you know, that God that has put you in such a sensitive and delicate and important kind of role in the community will continue to give you the strength, the wisdom, you know, that you need, and the grace, you know, that will be sufficient all the time. Because like you said, yes, you know, we can't do this on our own. We need other people, and you continue to stand on the shoulders of a lot of other people, I believe, and you continue to provide that shoulder for a lot of people as well to stand on, as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, you know, and as a colleague, you know, with your staff. So well done, you know, for all you're doing, and thank you to Derek, your CEO, and your team, you know, all, I don't want to, you know, name names now, but, you know, well done for all you're doing. And in the memory of, well, of Jack, who sadly we lost last year, we still appreciate as well his work, and the legacy is left within VRCID, MES, and other people will continue to live on. So we pray, you know, that VRCID will continue to get the support it needs through business owners and the community and so on, and so that you can continue to do the work that you do.
Thank you, Kim.
So thank you for everything. So you heard there from my dear sister and friend Wilma, you need to continue to keep focus on God. You need to just know that you're not in control. Yes, you can do things through Christ for those who are Christians, but yes, you still need God, you know, with you, and to show the love of God and show that you care. I'm just her words, not mine. Just saying that. So thank you for watching, and till the next time, this is Mama K signing off. Remember, stay safe, stay blessed, love you, and God is love.